Fretboard Summit. It's coming up real soon. August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in Chicago at the Old Town School of Folk Music. And I'm going to be teaching a class there on how to build a pedal. But people ask, what pedal are we building? We're going to be building one of these. This is a pedal that is not exactly in our line, but is very, 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 very similar to our Gus Drive. So I'm going to show you what it can do and what it sounds like. So I got my Reverend guitar here running. I'm in the humbucker position through our little build, and then that is going into a Boss IR2. And that's our clean tone. So let's talk about it. So our pedal here that we're teaching y'all how to build at Fretboard Summit is very similar to a Distortion Plus DOD 250 with some tweaks and changes along the way that I'll get all into in the class while you're building it. So you have two knobs. You have your on your left, if you're looking at the pedal, it's your volume knob. On the right is your drive knob, and those are right above a toggle switch, which gives you diode clipping choices. So the diodes that are in it are BAT41 diodes, which are very similar to germanium diodes in sound, but they're more modern replacements. They're not germanium, they're BAT41s. And we've allowed you to switch between symmetric and asymmetric clipping, which just kind of gives two little different flavors. So let's get into it. So if I set if I turn the gain all the way off, I turn it on. So, set my guitar on. There's our clean. So if you plug in your pedal and you turn your gain really, really low, I have the gain at about 3 o'clock, which means I'm going to push the volume to about noon. So here's our clean channel. Here's our pedal. A little crunchy, a little crispy. I could really push that volume to like 9 o'clock. We're getting a little more, so we're going like clean, pedal on. Just kind of has that little edge of breakup, you know? And then if we were to push it a little bit further to about noon, and I have both at noon, I have the toggle switch down. Kind of like a good crispy overdrive. If we push the gain to 9 o'clock, getting more distortion. If we just completely dime the gain all the way, real crunchy. And that's with the volume right around noon. If I push the volume to like 3 o'clock, it's getting a little louder. I'm sure this is also getting compressed through the whole audio setup. As you turn the volume all the way off, you can really hear how that responds to like the maxed out drive. So when I have the drive is 100% all the way over, volume's just off. Just roll them in the volume. And that's with everything dimed. So you can do a lot with just the two knobs, from like a nice little crunchy overdrive of like. And we'll get into talking when you build it about how you could put in different types of pots. Like you could have, I think right now we have linear in our drive section, but you could do like a logarithmic or anti-logarithmic, and you could just get a slightly different sweep of like where the change happens along the knob. Let's get into our diode selection here. So if I put everything back to right about noon where I had it, so this is, when I hit the switch, a little more volume. All right, so when I have the switch up, then I put the switch down. So the switch down has a little bit more thump to it. And I believe that is the symmetric clipping. And I think switch up was the asymmetric, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong once I check the schematic. Might have to edit this video. But that's what I think it was. It's been a while since I looked at the schematic for this. That switch up. That switch down. It's not a world of difference like if you're switching between like a Vox amp and a Marshall amp or a Fender amp and a whatever. But it's just that little bit of flavor that if you're looking for a drive, maybe a certain diode type plays better with your amp than the other one, and it gives you a little choice of it. Or maybe depending on which guitar you use. If you're like, oh, I want to use, let me see, I got a P90 here in the middle. Oh, let me get that set right there. Yeah, so a little clearer when you have the single coils. This is in the neck position. Not as noticeable with single notes. But yeah, it'll do it's a lot for 2 knobs and a diode selection. It's a super fun build that is achievable in the time that we have at Fretboard Summit. I'm not sure when you're watching this. There may still be seats available at night 2. I know night 1 is sold out as of recording. Night 2, I think, has like 2 seats left. But this is for Fretboard Summit 2025. Maybe we'll do another one in the future. I don't know. But we're making this really fun pedal. Well, not you're making this really fun pedal. I already made one. I'll make another one. But you're going to be making this fun pedal at Fretboard Summit and customizing it any way you want. And it's a fun little overdrive distortion that even if you have 100 overdrive distortions, you might not have one that you made. And it's really fun. So if you're coming to Chicago for Fretboard Summit, I'll see you there. Come say hi. Thanks.